This is Anagalactic. Please pardon my voice. I have been making recordings using my voice a little too strongly, and now I've worn it out, but I hope you can understand the words that I say. We are now in the Unimetrics series, and this is the first formal presentation of the axiomatic system from the bottom up. In the upper left-hand corner, you see the symbol for tau, which is 2 pi. So tau is the value of the circumference. It's approximately 6.28 because it's 2 pi. That number is irrational, but it doesn't have to be. You have to stay true to linear algebra, correct? All we have to do is observe what we've already done. So let's look at that again. And you'll see that there's a little line going from the center to the edge. We're inserting the linear number system into the circle. The way we correlate linearity with circularity is by assigning the number 1 to the radius. This is to put the number 1 onto the circumference. Instead, you put 1 on the circumference. And that's the correct location of the number 1. So now we know that 1 serves 2 purposes in mathematics. It serves as the index of linear spatial separation, because in order to have your unit of separation, you have to assign a number as the lowest number, or you can't divide the line. So we've decided on the number 1 for that. Once you invert it so that the irrationality is on the radius, then you can treat the surface of the circle as having the linear value 1. What does that do for us? Nothing that you can see yet, unless you're clever. But there is a way now to develop a number system for circular space that's closed, consistent, and complete. This entirely reliant on its component numbers being linear. So we don't lose linearity. It's embedded now in the circle. That circle does have a linear value of 1 because the radius is so carefully defined. Instead of making the circumference irrational and then no chance of developing out any number system for the circle, because it begins with irrationality, well, then it doesn't work. That can be proved, but don't worry about that for now. That's actually a fundamental principle of geometry. It really infuriated the Greeks, and particularly the Pythagoreans, when they discovered irrationality at all, because they thought numbers were holy. Well, these numbers are the numbers they were looking for. They are holy, and you'll see that in the next presentation. I'm sorry that this is tedious to get to just one such a simple point. The Invert Tau Circle is the basis of my work. So now we solved the problem that the Greeks could not solve. We got the value of the circumference that's rational. It's based on the irrationality of the radius, and that's consistent. There's no difference in that relationship. They stay in coordination. So the number for the radius is changed to the proportion that the number for the circumference changed. We've gotten the 1 into circular space. And in the next presentation, I'll show you how the circle has a fixed relationship to the sphere of that circle. And we'll be back with that in the next presentation. There's more to it than that, but I think you're going to enjoy the construction of circular geometry using linear numbers that are rational linear numbers for the computation of circular space. So I want to assure you of something. Our method of linear measurement is so basic to us that it sounds threatening because it's a trade-off. And what this system purports to do for us is to allow us to see the exact same space as we create with our linear number system, but it has a different geometry. But the metrics are all the same. We just showed that the linear distance has not changed. Well, the relationship between that and the circle has not changed. So just because the circle has a value of 1 does not mean that that is changed our ability to measure linear direction. Anywhere on the surface of that circle, you can measure the radius. It has a known value. So you haven't lost linearity at all. It's embedded. It certainly is embedded in a strange way, though, isn't it? Because where did the straight line disappear to? If we have 1 on the circle, what's our unit of measurement in the linear space? It's 0.166 ... It's the inverse of tau, is the metric unit for the line now. We can do that. There's nothing to stop us from making the straight line actually what it already is. We're just using the straight line the way it was meant to be used by the universe, as the shit bucket for all the irrational numbers. All the irrational numbers in the universe are on the straight line, and the universe does not use irrational numbers in any of its computations. It uses strict linear proportionality in a spheric number system. That has been proved. So I hope that doesn't baffle you, but I wanted to let you know that we're not losing linear spatial separation. It's in the system. It's still what it was. But you're going to see something magical happen in the next presentation that changes everything. So I hope you're ready for that, and stay tuned. Sorry this was a little long-winded, but it's necessary at the beginning. Things are going to pick up very rapidly, and you're going to soon have an opposite challenge. It's simplifying, but it's explanatory. This is exactly what science is supposed to do for us. This will end up solving the quantum paradox right in front of your eyes, and it reformulates space-time so that it's actually comprehensible. It still is the same brilliant Einsteinian formula that it ever was, but it's going to simplify it. It does more than that. It actually extends space-time into a much more useful system. But our ability to understand the universe is hampered if we can't see it the way it sees itself. We're forcing our grid onto the universe. That simply cannot be done, and we're finding out that the universe is giving us our answers. It's scoring our test. We flunked. That need not persist. We can succeed. We can get the answers that science has always sought. You're going to see it all. I'm not going to leave you guessing. This is the easy path. This is a highly pleasurable course. I hope that encourages you. We know that there's something ahead. We're trying to be ready for what's ahead. Will you be ready to continue? This is the whole purpose of science, is that when we find our answer, we can share it. We don't have to worry about a religion, worry about reality, to see it the way it wants us to see it. Do we see the universe the way the universe expects us to see it? Not in science we don't. We're trying to force it to conform to our human will. Well, it simply cannot be done, and that's why you have psychosis. You don't need to have that. Stay tuned. This is Anagalactic. We'll be... We'll be right back.